Yo guys, what's up? I'm back with another tutorial and today I'm gonna show you how I did my Post Malone remix and it sounds like this.
Squad, bring the money to the bank like.
So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so I'm gonna start with one of the most important parts of the track and that's the drums and it sounds like this. So the first thing I did was add a kick and an 808. I didn't do any processing on both of them because I thought it sounded good in the mix already, so I didn't need to EQ it or anything. The kick sounds like this, and the 808 sounds like this. As you can see, I put some slide notes on the 808 to really get like a groovy effect, and it sounds really cool. So then I've added like a Vox. It's from the original track from Post Malone, and I thought it sounded really cool together with the drums. And it sounds like this. And on the processing, you can see that I did a EQ. Just took out some of the mids because it was a bit muddy, and no more processing needed on the Vox. So for the last part of the drums, I've added some snares, and the first one sounds like this. I use it in a lot of my remixes and beats, and it sounds really crazy. So for the processing, I did an EQ. I've boosted some mids and took out some highs because they were a bit harsh to me. And after the EQ, I've added a fruity stereo enhancer that actually makes your snare go really wide in the mix. So they're really stereo, and it's just a sick trick, especially for Moombahton, because it always sounds really good. The second snare sounds like this. And it's actually a sample I found in the Plex sample pack. You guys should really check that out because they're sick from Moombahton. The first thing I did in the mixer was boost some mids because it adds some warmth to the snare. Next, I added another fruity stereo enhancer. The same thing I did with the first snare because it really adds some depth to your samples. And the last thing I did was add a reductive EQ again to take out some of the lows. So the third snare sounds like this. And the last snare sounds like this. And I basically did the same processing as the first two snares, and I just boosted some mids and again a stereo enhancer. Next up is the instruments I used. It's not much, but it sounds really good, and they sound like this. So as you can see, it's just a brass. I found it in a Semantic sample pack. I use it a lot in my tracks. Sounds like this. And for the EQ, I just did a low cut and that's it. And I also did the same thing with the reverse. I just reversed the sample and basically the same processing. For the next part, I have a crash and a church bell. And the processing I did here was just again an EQ because they sound really good for itself and they don't need a lot of processing. So for the last part of the tutorial, I'm gonna show you how I did the drop leads and how I really got the drop going. Together they sound like this.
Squad, bring the money to the bank like.
The first thing in the drop I did was add an alarm because it really adds a certain tension to your tracks. It sounds like this. For the processing, I only did an EQ and the Kickstart. It's a sidechain by Nicky Romero and it sounds really good. Next up, I made a fill by layering two sounds and together they sound like this. And it's actually just an 808 with a slide note and a preset I found in Serum. For this sound, I actually didn't do any processing at all because it sounds so crazy by itself. So for the last and most important part, I'm going to show you the drop lead and it sounds like this. It's actually just a one shot, and I'm gonna show you the processing now. First, I added EQ, took out the lows. After that, I added OTT compressor, which is actually a free plugin, and it sounds really good. Then I added Fabfilter Saturn for some saturation. I just used the preset Hip Hop Puncher O. Then I've added reverb. I chose ValhallaRoom because to me it's the best reverb there is. Again, took out the lows because the reverb is gonna give you some low frequencies, and that's something we don't want. And at the end, I just again add a Nicky Romero kickstart for the sidechain so it doesn't interfere with the kick and the other sounds. Yo guys, thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you learned a lot. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a like, and let me know in the comments down below what you want to see next time. The project file is also available in the description, so you guys should definitely check that out, and I hope to see you next time.